guys, it's Boxing Lowdown and I'm back here with another video. Now these are my thoughts on some of the undercard fights. I'm going to talk about Alexander Povetkin and Michael Hunter, who fought to a draw, and I'm also going to talk about Dillian Whyte's performance against Mariusz Wach. Now let's start with Alexander Povetkin and Michael Hunter. This fight started off brilliantly, man. I mean, it started off so quick and nobody expected Michael Hunter to really go to Povetkin like that, but I said in my prediction video that he will use his youth and probably win a decision. And in the early rounds, it looked like he was using his youth to try and knock Povetkin out, which is not something that many people see. Yeah, he went out there and he went for Povetkin, landed some good shots, and Povetkin was, you know, he was stunned. He was stunned by the quickness of Michael Hunter, and he was very bothered by some of the punches that were being landed earlier on from him. And you know, he did well to weather the storm, because I think if he didn't have all of that experience behind him, I mean, he could have went down. I mean, he could have been overwhelmed, but he did very well to stay in there. And from rounds 3 onwards, in the middle rounds, Povetkin was starting to take control again. But then towards the later rounds, Hunter, I think, in my opinion, really started to bust Povetkin up a little bit. Particularly in the 11th round, where I thought it could have been waved off. If it was like the 7th round when that happened, then that fight wouldn't have carried on for much longer. But going into the 12th, I think that, you know, Povetkin did very, very well to come back and win that round. Michael Hunter was a bit disappointing for me by not actually stepping his foot on the gas in the 12th. Maybe he thought that he did enough to win on points, but he lost the round anyway. I mean, he just gave that round away to Povetkin, which ultimately sealed the fate of it being a draw. So, yeah, Michael Hunter will be disappointed in that. I'm sure he would have felt that he did enough to win. I thought he did enough to win, but it wasn't a robbery. Let's get that out in the clear now. It definitely wasn't a robbery between Michael Hunter and Povetkin. I think it was a close fight. And although the majority of people thought Hunter won, I thought Hunter won. A draw, I mean, you can see a couple of swing rounds here and there, and Povetkin did do very well after the opening few rounds to really take lead and, you know, start to beat Michael Hunter to the punch from the 3rd round onwards up until the middle round. So, yeah, I mean, it's give and take. Even so, I still thought Michael Hunter did enough to win, but I think that he, you know, I was a bit disappointed with how he went out with that 12th round, man. I'm not going to lie, I thought that he should have done a bit more and just really seal his authority on Povetkin, because he was done after the 11th round. I can't remember what round it was, but Povetkin walked to Hunter's corner. It might have been around 8 or something like that, but he walked to Hunter's corner after the bell, totally out of it. He was just, he was done. And Hunter, I thought, yeah, now this is the time when he's going to use his youth and show what he's about and, you know, take the victory. But it didn't really come. So I'm sure he'll want the rematch, and I'm sure in the rematch he'll believe that he could beat Povetkin. Povetkin was really just glad to get through it from what I saw. But, you know, he showed his experience, he showed why he's a top fighter, and, you know, he saw out the draw. So be interesting to see what happens next with those two. Michael Hunter is definitely a player in the heavyweight division, and next year for him, I'd like to see him in there with some of these guys, more of these guys from the top 10. I think that he's got the style, he's got the youth, he's got the ability to, you know, make a bit of an impact in this division. I'm not saying that he's going to be the #1 guy, but I think he may ruffle a few feathers for sure. And Povetkin, he's had a great career. You know, he's had a wealth of experience as an amateur and as a pro. I feel like his time's probably coming up to an end soon. I don't think he'll be having too many more fights. He is 40 years old when you think about it. So this fight really did age him. You know, I remember when Adonis Stevenson fought Badou Jack, and that fight really aged him. I could see Povetkin kind of going that same route. Not obviously what happened to Adonis Stevenson. Hope that he's recovering very well. It was good to hear. But I can see, you know, Povetkin not having that many more fights after that, man. I mean, he's done a lot already. And yeah, I think that maybe 1 or 2 more, if he can get a big fight, then he'll take it. But yeah, I can't see him having many more fights after that. But let me know your thoughts about it, man. Do you want to see a rematch between these two? How did you score the fight? Did you think it was a robbery? Did you think Hunter won? Did you think Povetkin won? Let me know, man. Drop them in the comment section below. But moving on to Dillian Whyte against Mariusz Wach. Now, Dillian Whyte was his career heaviest. He's hasn't fought since July when he defeated Oscar Rivas. Obviously, we all know what's been going on with the UCAD situation. It was good to see that that's finally been resolved. As I was saying in previous videos, we've managed to get a resolution to that now, so he can look forward into next year. This really, against Mariusz Wach, was a ticking over fight for me. I said it before on my socials and everywhere else that Mariusz Wach is, you know, he's a durable opponent, and Whyte has come in on short notice. He's overweight. So I wasn't expecting Whyte to blow him away by any means. It had all the recipes for a 12 round, well, 10 round actually, it went 10 rounds, but It had all the recipes for a 10-round point decision for me. And that's exactly what happened. You know, Dillian Whyte did land some good combinations to the body and head. And, you know, there were times where he was hit. It didn't look very good, but he was disappointed in his performance. But at the end of the day, he wanted to get in the ring. And, you know, we should applaud that. You know, he didn't have to fight this weekend. He just wanted to. So, you know, he wants to stay active. He wants to stay busy. He wants to fight. So I think people should be applauding that more than, you know, worried about how Dillian Whyte looked. And he's staying busy. You know, he didn't actually have to fight at all, man. So I give credit for Dillian Whyte here. He's obviously going to pursue Deontay Wilder even more now, considering that he's been in the clear with UCAD. And the WBC really just need to sort themselves out, man, and give this guy his shot. Because we know that Fury's been elevated to the mandatory now, and Dillian Whyte won't be the mandatory until February 2021. So it's ridiculous what the WBC are doing, but it is what it is, man. Should Dillian Whyte pursue other options? Should he like look to go for like maybe the vacant, well, if it becomes vacant, the WBO or the IBF title, whichever. I mean, maybe he should work his way up those rankings, but I just get the feeling that he's been chasing this WBC route for so long. It'll be kind of sad to see him pull out of it now, and I think he's thinking that way as well. This is how he wants to map out his career, and he wants to go for Wilder. He sees something in Wilder that he thinks he can beat. So if he's so easy, according to so many other people, to beat, then why can't Wilder fight him? So, you know, let's hope that that happens eventually. But Wilder will obviously be fighting Fury in February, so they'll be fighting, and then we'll see what happens there. But good to see Dillian Whyte back on the victory, you know, getting back in the ring and winning. And yeah, maybe we'll see him against a big opponent next year. I'm sure we will. But that's my thoughts on the two undercard fights in this video. Hrgovic against Molina, that was, you know, a blowout as I expected. Didn't really expect Molina to do anything. Disappointed with his tactics, really. For me, he didn't even seem like he wanted to be there. And he just didn't really do anything for me in that fight. So, yeah, disappointing on that point of view. But all in all, good show in Saudi Arabia. For me, I wasn't complaining about the money at all in that one. So, yeah, good show overall. Let's see what happens next. But drop your thoughts in the comment section below anyway, guys. I'm waffling on a bit now. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.